kind of what's all involved with each of these. I'm going to start with world language. And I had a long discussion with the 7th graders about this, because there's some key things you really want to know about this if your child's deciding to do Spanish, which is our one world language class. Okay, and it's called Spanish 1 if you notice in the handout there. And I'd ask them, a lot of you have been taking Spanish for through elementary, and you took it this year, so why is it called Spanish 1? Well, I told them that the reason why it's called Spanish 1 is because it's the first year of really high school Spanish. All right, so Spanish 1 is a high school course that we offer at 8th grade to kind of give them a year head start. Okay, because if they take Spanish 1 in 8th grade, when they get into 9th grade, they can take Spanish 2, and Spanish 3 sophomore year, and then Spanish 3 or Spanish 4 their junior year, and then they're done if they're going for 4 years. And they do have the opportunity of doing AP Spanish their senior year if they want to. But we offer that opportunity mainly for that purpose, to accelerate it a little bit. We talked a lot about too, why do students take Spanish? The reality is Spanish is not required, or I should say world language is not required to graduate from Valley. And a lot of kids were kind of surprised by that. They're like, you don't need to graduate? But then I asked them, but why do a lot of students take it? And the key answer was because of college, obviously. And so we talked about what colleges are looking for with world language. That two years will get you into a college, but 4 years will allow you not to have to take it once you get to college. And I told them, as far as Spanish this next year, and there's some key things. There's 3 things that I really want them to keep in mind. Number 1, and this is probably the biggest one, is how are they doing in English right now? If they are getting an A or B in English, they'll probably be all right to take Spanish. Okay, but if they're not, if they're at a C or lower in English, I'm going to probably be talking with them a little bit. I may be talking with you too about taking Spanish, because if they're having struggles in English, they're having troubles in their language arts class, going on to a foreign language, they're going to have probably some struggles there. And like I said, this is a high school level course. It's pretty fast paced, and it's they will get homework, and the tests are going to be pretty rigorous. But the key thing is that that we want them to be successful with. They don't have to take Spanish in 8th grade. It's an opportunity to excel. And that leads us on to number 2. If you're taking Spanish in 8th grade, if you're doing it because of the college aspects of it, if you want to take Spanish in 8th grade, make sure that that's going to be your language that you're going to be taking the next couple of years. Because if you take Spanish next year as an 8th grader and then decide to do French or German or Latin or Chinese the following year, this will not, the year of Spanish will not count for anything, because it doesn't show up on the transcript. It doesn't get high school credit. But people ask, well, how do they know that the kids took it? Well, because when a college will get a transcript and they see Spanish 2 on 9th grade, they will assume, okay, they must have taken Spanish 1 in 8th grade. And so it doesn't show up on a transcript, but it allows for that acceleration. So if they take Spanish 1 next year and then decide to take French or something else their freshman year, really this year of Spanish doesn't count for anything as far as that acceleration. Now, if they're really interested in Spanish and want to take that year, great. I mean, I'm not going to tell them they can't take it. I don't want to discourage them based on that, but make sure that that's the language that they want to do. So there's 2 things: that they get an A or B in English, that that Spanish is their language of choice, and then number 4 is a big one, that they are wanting to do 4 years of Spanish. Because, like I said, 2 years will get you into college, but I want you to imagine this: if you take Spanish your 8th grade year and Spanish your freshman year, and you say you're good, okay, I got my 2 years done. They go to college, they've had a 3-year gap of language there, and then they say, oh, you've got another year of Spanish, and you're like, oh my goodness, I haven't taken Spanish since my 9th grade year. So make sure that they're committed to wanting to take probably 4 years of it, which most of our students that are taking Spanish are in that boat. They're good language students. They're good, or they want Spanish as their language, and they're committed to do those 4 years. Now, those are discussions to have with your student, but just something to keep in mind, because it is a rigorous course, and it's one that we really want to keep in mind. And it is one, if I go back here, it's one that when you fill out your form, it's going to go on both lines. It's going to go on, like if you put it on line 6, it's going to go on first semester and second semester because it's a full year course. So it can't just be on one semester. It can't go alternating PE either because it's every day. So it's either got to be line 6 all the way across or line 7 all the way across. And that's a big thing to remember. The kids talked a lot about that. Yeah?
If you were to skip that and do 2 years and you need to take 2 years in college, when you start that first year in college, I would assume, and the question is for you, is wouldn't they, if you're learning Spanish in college, don't they start at the beginning?
In college?
Yeah.
Well,
Don't they act like you don't know how to speak
I took it in college myself, and I was one of those that took my freshman and sophomore year, and it was killer for me.
Okay.
I mean, and plus, and another thing to think about too with it is, you have to pay for those credits too. And so I told the kids, if you're committed to wanting to do a 4-year school, which is looking at those, at taking that foreign language, try and get those 4 years in here because not only do you not have to take it, but it also gives you, it costs, it's going to allow you not to take that class credit-wise, so you don't have to pay for those credits. And also you got a little bit more opportunity, once you get there to pick other classes. And so I learned the hard way on that myself, but it's really up to you guys. And that, if you are only going to do 2 years, and I think the high school would recommend too that you wait till later on, your sophomore or junior or senior, starting your sophomore or junior year, because that'll lessen the gap there. But we do offer that option, and it's a great option for kids to do that if they're wanting to get done with Spanish a little early, give more option their senior year, or if they want to do that AP class that senior year. So it's some really good option there, but something you really want to talk about. Yeah.
You have a listing of what foreign languages you offer in high school?
Yeah.
To help the decision-making process?
Yeah, so we offer, there's 5 foreign languages or world languages that are offered at Valley.
For 4 years?
Yep, 4 years. Yep, they're all 4 years. It's Latin, French, German, and Mandarin Chinese, and then Spanish. They used to have Japanese, but they're phasing that out. So the students that are in 8th, or they're going to be in 8th grade now, won't have that option. So those are the options, and they can start that at Valley Southwood, right? All those languages. So yeah. So and that's the other thing. I mean, if they're wanting to do that other language, Valley South, they can still get those 4 years if they start at Valley Southwood. So Spanish is the one option that we have for that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Spanish used to show up on the high school transcript. When did they change that recently, or is it?
It's been different since I've been here. So I've been here for 5 years, and I think it changed right before I got here. The reason why they changed it, from what I heard, is that since it's not taught in a high school building, they can't consider it a high school credit. Now, this is based on, from what I've heard, the state of Iowa. This is a Department of Ed decision on this. And so that's what the change was, but you are correct, they did used to give credit for it. I think 5 or 6 years ago was when they cut it off. And so, again, they just decided on that it's not offered at a high school building. And that's just with world languages. Obviously math is different because you can get the credit there, but that's a different, if I'm off on that, please let me know. But I think that's what I had heard at that time, so. Other questions? Okay. Yeah, Spanish was one that we talked about a lot in the classroom with the students, just because I want to make sure that they understand, what the expectations are and what what the class involved, because it's a big step going on to a high school level course in 8th grade. But we have a lot of students that are definitely ready for that and are accept the challenge. And there's a lot of students that take all advanced classes and Spanish and do well. It's just it's about managing time and be able to stay on top of everything. So I'm going to go through some of the other academic electives. The rest of them that I'm going to talk about are only going to be 1 semester courses. So I'm going to go back real quick to our sheet. So any ones that I talked about after Spanish, you would put them in line 6 or line 7, and they'd only go in 1st semester or 2nd semester. Not in both. You can only take them 1 semester. So we start with art. So art, it's really an expansion of what they did in 7th grade. They get a lot more opportunity to start exploring the drawing, the painting, the ceramics. They also have a photographic element of it. So this is a semester-long course. In 7th grade, they had a quarter of it. They only had one quarter, so they only have a pretty small experience of art. But they get to do some pretty neat projects within this. You'll see displays around the school of a lot of things that our students do, and it's unbelievable the talent that we have here at Stilwell with the art aspect of it. So students are really involved in art. It's a great opportunity to start getting them going with what the opportunities are once they get up into high school, because they can start looking at drawing, 2D art, 3D art with the sculpting, and then also can get into the photography and stuff like that. So great option for that. The next class is communications media. This is offered by our drama teacher, and they are their main focus here is looking at films, newspapers, the media in general. They also look at social media. A great thing about this is they actually are involved in creating the school newspaper, and which comes out once every couple months or so. And so they go around interviewing teachers, interviewing students, take pictures around the school. They're also involved right now in creating our yearbook. So they got some pretty neat responsibilities that they're involved with. If your student is kind of somebody that might be interested in something with media down the road, it's a great class to kind of get them involved with that. Drama's the other end of that. We have a lot of drama classes throughout the day, and they're just it's a great class. We kind of consider it a precursor to a speech class, because they're getting used to getting up in front of people, talking and doing different things. But they also are doing a lot of the art aspects of it with the theater. They do a lip sync production here, which is a very popular thing. Parents will come in to watch it. All the student, a lot of the student body will watch it. And it's a great opportunity for students to kind of be themselves and let themselves go a little bit. But there's a serious aspect of it too, of getting them comfortable in front of talking in front of people, and breaking some of those barriers that fears and stuff like that they have. And it's a good class to kind of get to know people as well, because they're doing a lot of interacting, doing a lot of just stuff back and forth to get to know each other. Sewing is part of our family and consumer science department, and in 7th grade they have it's only 9 weeks as the family and consumer science, and they split up 4.5 weeks with sewing and 4.5 weeks with foods. Once they get into 8th grade, they can take a full semester of sewing, and it's pretty. Again, this is kind of like art. They make some pretty neat stuff, and this will be displayed a lot of times out in our display case. And pretty neat the stuff that they make, and it's pretty laid back class, usually at the end of the day. So it's kind of a good kind of stress reliever for a lot of kids to just make something and not have to worry about necessarily homework or anything like that. Just kind of get working with their hands and doing stuff, and they usually are listening to some music and do some really neat stuff in there. And I always tell, not just for the girls, all right, it's for the boys too. It's a great skill to know, and hopefully we can get some people and get a lot of kids involved with it. We've had a lot of kids involved with it the last couple of years. Foods, probably our most popular elective. And I told the kids when I talked with them, and you can probably see why, because they get to bake some good stuff. But when I talked with them, I had the kids raise their hands if they were interested in taking foods, and we saw that about half of the class usually rose their hand. But I told them there's only 148 slots available in foods, based on how the number of classes that we have, because our foods teacher teaches 7th grade in the morning. And so 148 slots, we usually get about 200 kids that put this on their registration form. Now I told them that if they want to take this course, they need to make sure they put it on line 6 or line 7 of that sheet. If they put it as an alternate elective, they will not get it. And usually, just to let you know how it usually works, if we have the right number, then everybody will get in. But if we don't have the right number, then what we'll do, if it's a little high, I'll have to do a lottery. Now what happened last year, I'll just let you know, what happened last year was I had to do a lottery, and I think I had about 15 kids that didn't get in. But after we ran the schedules, there was a lot of kids, because of being in advanced classes, being in music, they couldn't take foods. I should say a lot of kids, but there was a handful of kids that couldn't take foods, and so most of the kids that signed up ended up getting in. So I just really strongly encourage sign up. There's a chance they might not get in, But that's why it's important to add that alternate elective at the bottom, to make sure that if they don't get in, there's something else they might want to take. Our technology education department, one of the classes changed its name. It's, the class is called Engineering Technology. It used to be called Exploring Technology. And now it's called Engineering Technology. It's pretty much the same premise as far as what they do. It's our woodworking class. They're working in the shop, building things. So I told the kids that if that's the class you're kind of looking for, you'll want to put down Engineering Technology. And they work with woods, do some metal work, a little bit with plastic. They do a few other projects as well. But the main part of it is they're working with those hand tools, power tools, and other equipment. Great for those hands-on learners and stuff like that. The other class in the technology education part is our Gateway to Technology. And this is a class that's funded by engineering grant money. And so this is a strong design class, computer design class. They do a lot of robotics aspects. They use some different software to create designs and images on the computer. Do some really neat stuff. They look at real world objects and how they work, like with traffic lights, toll booths, robotic arms. So it's just a great, again, intro to engineering. And I can tell you, Valley has a great engineering program up there. And this is a great thing to kind of get them kind of looking at what's involved there, kind of get them interested. And if your student's been involved in Hyperstream, which is BSAT on Wednesdays, this is a great